We have to ask our public officials to make commitments in person before this assembly so that they know how many citizens care. That is why your presence here tonight matters. Being here shows our decision makers how many of us care about our kids, because we are all here together so we can get the proven solutions our community desperately needs. So if we hear a no from a decision maker tonight, we are going to respectfully press for a clear commitment. Will you support our risk speakers to get commitments for these proven solutions? Yes. Here's what we'll need from you. Applaud risk speakers and be silent if officials say anything other than yes. Can we do that? Yes. You can also support risk speakers by responding with cheers. Let's practice now. For elementary reading, when you hear "we want our kids to read," you say, "so they can succeed." We want our kids to read so they can succeed. Great. For child trauma, when you hear "our kids need care," you say, not "wow, our kids need care." Before we get started, we are going to practice responding to our officials with our floor team. Floor team members, please stand up and wave. Thank you. They will guide us tonight on how to respond. Remember, if we hear anything other than a yes, we need to be completely silent. No booing, no clapping, no laughing. We want to be respectful and be aware that a maybe can sound like a yes. So watch our floor team and spokespeople for clear instructions. And when we get a yes, we cheer and celebrate. Deacon Mills, will you join me up here to play the part of our officials? Deacon Mills, will you do justice tonight?
No, I will not.
Please remember, absolutely no laughing or clapping unless our floor team members give the signal. Deacon Mills, will you do justice tonight?
Yes, I will.
Great work. You catch on real quick. We will be disciplined and organized, and we will do justice tonight. Let's stand together and sing. Lift every voice and sing. Words are on page 8, the back of your program.
Every voice Shalom, salam, peace. Brochim aba'im l'shem Adonai. Blessed are those who come in God's name. Friends and family, I ask you to draw within yourself and to think of the God who is called Emet, who is called truth. That today we live in a world where injustice is called life, and where corruption is called business as usual. And this pain, this struggle is so deep within us that it feels as though we cannot bear this burden. But when we look out at each other and we see people, we truly see each other. We know that we are all made b'tselem Elohim. We are all made in the image of the divine, and it is through our work together that we will pursue justice. So in the words of our shared sacred literature, Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek, be strong, and we shall be strengthened. And the congregation says, Amen. Go forth and seek justice.
Good evening. My charge is to inform some and to remind others of our reason for being here tonight. Why are we here? Every year RISC convenes this assembly because we recognize that our community faces some challenges that have lingered for far too long. There is much that could be done to improve the lives of many people. We gather as people of faith, sharing our common values of equality, hope, and freedom. We have a vision for a society as it should be, not as it is. When we look around, we see that historically and presently, we are a divided city where oppression has reigned for generations. Each year, we gather to move our community closer to take action with a vision of freedom and hope. We are here in hope that when we gather as one united, powerful voice, we can move the decision makers of our community to make our vision a reality. All faiths believe in justice, and we join together to insist that just conditions prevail for everyone in our community. This event is named the Nehemiah Action Assembly. It is named for Nehemiah in the Hebrew Scriptures. Nehemiah provides a memorable example of how we should move our community forward, how we should move toward action on our vision of hope and justice. Nehemiah is our inspiration because he pulled the people of Jerusalem together to rebuild the wall that previously had been breached and torn down. In the middle of the rebuilding of the wall, a severe famine hit the land. Many people were forced to borrow money to buy food and to pay taxes. As the drought continued and debts were unpaid, the moneylenders took everything, their crops, their land, and even forced people to sell their children into slavery to pay their debts. The people cried out to Nehemiah and told him of the injustice they were enduring. Nehemiah was angry when he heard of their cries and organized a great assembly of people and brought the moneylenders face to face with the people they were oppressing. It was only then that the lenders agreed to restore everything they had taken from the people, and they did as they promised. My brothers and sisters, we are here tonight because we believe that to see our community restored, we must do what Nehemiah did. We must organize a great assembly in our region to speak out for solutions to the problems and challenges that face us. There are some other lessons we learned from Nehemiah. Like Nehemiah, we have heard, seen, and witnessed the cries of the people. And we have righteous anger over these conditions. Thousands of children in our community are sidelined by poor reading ability and unaddressed trauma. Our children are often suspended. Some are plagued by poor physical and mental health, as are their families and communities. These are but some of the injustices that disproportionately impact the poor and those of African American and Hispanic descent. All of us can attest in one way or another to what has happened with test scores. And then most of us shake our heads and complain. But we are here to stand together with one voice, and we will not settle for less than and not enough any longer. We gather because we know there is some help, but that is not enough. We know that mercy is necessary, but it is not a substitute for justice. Justice requires that we hold our public officials accountable for fair policies that protect the most vulnerable in our community. And like Nehemiah, we know we must get to the root of these problems in order to create a lasting change. Nehemiah was a powerful man in his time. He knew the money lenders personally. But even with his status and position as the right-hand man of the king of Persia, Nehemiah knew that he could not do it alone. He needed more. He needed an assembly of people. This is you and people like you. He chose to hold his friends accountable for the injustice of their system that they themselves had created. We are here because we care about our public officials and our community. And we want proven solutions to be enacted that are just solutions. We are here because we share with Nehemiah in the knowledge that money is not the only source of power. The consumer mindset of our culture would have us to believe that we can only be powerful if we have money and status. But we know that the God of justice has ordained another source of power. And that power resides whenever God's people gather. Tonight we have the power of being organized together in this very assembly. We are here to carry on Nehemiah's example. But Nehemiah was not the only one who knew the power of people assembled together. Tonight, we stand on the shoulders of people throughout history who have held those in power to a higher standard of peace and of equality and of justice. We are standing with those who gave their all, even their very lives, that others might know that sweet taste of justice. We also stand in the tradition of Moses. Let my people go, he says to Pharaoh after those years of captivity. We are here tonight because even now, 50 years later, we still hear the voice of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. as he quoted from the book of Amos, until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. We are here because of Jesus' response to the hurting, broken, and the cast aside people. He says in Luke, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has appointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight to the blind, and to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. Tonight, we proclaim that for justice, this is the year of the Lord's favor. We proclaim tonight that for our children in need of better skills and of more of fairness in our school systems, for those who have been involuntarily put into the school-to-prison pipeline, we say that we stand together, that justice for them will prevail, because we know that God has better for us. And we declare this night that we will continue to assemble until we hear the voice saying that now is the time. This is the acceptable hour. This is the acceptable year when all of God's children will receive full justice and everything that God has promised. Amen.
Good evening. I'm Renee Fleming Mills, a member of the Ebenezer Baptist Justice Ministry. Dr. Burke just reminded us why we are here, and we know that for 16 years we have been gathering here under the banner of risk to accomplish significant change in our community. One initiative still taking shape is healthcare job training. In 2016, HCA Virginia and VCU Health made commitments to develop a health careers pipeline in partnership with local workforce centers and community colleges. We just learned from VCU Health that phase 1 of the pilot program will launch this summer. We will meet with them this summer to continue moving the pipeline to completion. And from 2010 to 2015, for 5 years, we pressed Mayor Jones